content over to other blogs and websites is pretty important for marketing. We've done it a lot here, getting featured on Entrepreneur and in hundreds of podcasts, a bunch of other places like that. Today, I want to run through a pitch that I got for a guest blogger, tear it down, build it back up, and show you my take on how to actually properly pitch a guest post. So let's jump into it. So this is a message from Swati Sharma, subject blogger and author. Hi, I am Swati Sharma, a blogger and part-time author. I am into tech blogging domain for past 2 years. And apart from my own blog, I now want to contribute to other blogs. Is there a guest section on your website where I can contribute articles under my name? Let me know. So this email off the bat, I want to use this as an example of things that can go wrong in your mail merges. So for instance, this space after experiment 27, this comes from having unclean data, which means in their Excel doc that they were using, there was an extra space in there. The other thing that's kind of weird is there is no customization here. It doesn't say hi Alex, but it does say the website name. So just adding a little bit more customization. And then the other big meta point I want to get to in this email, one of the reasons why you kind of cringe when you read it is because of this. So I am this, apart from my own blog, I now want to do this. Where is there a place where I can contribute? Like this entire email is all about Swati and her needs, his needs, but it's not about me at all. And one of the ways you get people to respond to your cold emails are to make it about them. Oh, and then the final thing that I want to touch on before I jump into this is this final call to action. Is there a guest author section on your website, Experiment 27, where I can contribute articles under my name? This is a bad question because if this guy, Swati, had just gone to the blog, they would see if there was a guest section or not. And that should be part of the lead gen. That shouldn't even be part of this. All right, so here's what I would change here. Start off with some kind of interesting tidbit about why you're reaching out. Came across the article you did. And let me just check what is on the Experiment 27 blog. How to test turning a service into a product by not charging premium prices. Okay, cool. Came across the podcast article you did about Ryan Lee. Loved the section about Hi Alex, came across the podcast article you did about Ryan Lee, loved the section about premium prices. Looking at an article on the blog and customizing this first sentence, that took all of 10 seconds. Then, I am Swati Sharma, a blogger and part-time author. This part's fine. I am into tech blogging domain for past 2 years, and apart from my own blog, I now want to contribute on other blogs as well as expand my portfolio. So first of all, yeah, there's a bunch of typos and stuff, which, don't send your emails with typos. I don't know why every single one of these videos has an email with a bunch of typos in it, but hire a proofreader if you really need it. Okay, so the main reason I don't like this though is he's talking about tech blogging, but there's no example, there's no link to his blog, there's no actual way I can find his blog either because he's a Gmail account. So this is what I would do instead. Okay, something like this. I'm Swati Sharma, a blogger and part-time author who writes content like Top 10 Tech Hacks. Reading through your posts, I thought your audience might be interested in these topics. So I would link there. So content like Top 10 Tech Hacks that's been featured on Entrepreneur. Anything like that, right? If you're reaching out for guest posts, call to one of the other guest posts so the author can see what those are like. Reading through your posts, I thought your audience might be interested in these topics. So 3 specific topics, and when you're sending cold emails for guest posts, the way that I normally do it is I send different topics to each person based on what their content is. So let's go back to my blog and let's read what the last few bits of content are. So almost all of them are podcast breakdowns. So if I was looking at this and I was a guest poster, I would say this is not a good fit for guest posting, but let's say I wanted to email anyway. How to test turning a service into a product by not charging premium prices, how to keep your clients happy, how to drive sales, strategies for connecting with busy people. So it's all about B2B sales strategy, that sort of stuff. So what topics would Swati Sharma be interested in? So it was kind of tough to write these because I don't know anything about Swati Sharma or his/her writing, going back to the original point of this. But here are a few that I thought of. So how to get customer feedback with scripts, 3 steps to getting your first consulting client, the secret to getting featured on entrepreneur.com, right? Customized things that speak to the content on the blog. The last thing I wanted to touch on was the subject line. If you wanted to go full generic, you could say amazing post. Someone would open that because everyone likes to see compliments. If you wanted to customize it more, you could say amazing post about Ryan Lee. And that's the script. Hi, Alex. Came across the podcast article you did about Ryan Lee. Love the section about premium prices. I'm Swati Sharma, a blogger and part-time author who writes content like Top 10 Tech Hacks. It's been featured on Entrepreneur. Reading through your posts, I thought your audience might be interested in these topics. How to get customer feedback, 3 steps, secret to getting featured on Entrepreneur. Would love to discuss potentially writing a guest post if any of these sound interesting. Also open to workshopping ideas. Would you mind if I sent over a draft post? Thanks, Swati. And that is how you get guest posts. Feel free to subscribe to this channel for more B2B sales training, like to encourage this type of content. And if you need marketing support for your digital agency, check out experiment27.com. Thanks.